Yeah.
It's probably a helpful tool at least.
Yeah, it's usually a helpful thing to do if you want to hear the other person.
Most likely.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm 8 minutes late because apparently I got some really good fucking weed.
Yeah, the internet won
These
today.
dispensaries should just. I mean, I don't see why a weed dispensary isn't sponsoring us by now.
Oh, honestly, yeah, for real.
I mean, come on. How is a weed dispensary not sponsoring this show?
Right.
It's right there for you. It's right. Easy. I don't know. Right. That's a conversation for another day with a different person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see any way you can help me with that. So, anyway, I got an old friend here with us. Just Luke is back. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Good, my man. How are you doing? I'm just living the dream here in West by God, trying to survive
West
winter.
by God.
Trying to survive winter. That's about it, my man.
Yeah, I hear that. Hey, we're back, and we are a week after the Super Bowl, so
yep.
Obviously, we got something to talk about. Super Bowl reactions and overreactions, as is just par for the course nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, good game, very good game.
Yep.
You're the Rams. You made the trade, and you made the trade. You know, you mortgaged your future basically. You wanted to get a ring.
Yeah.
And you got it.
I
mean, what did they give up? 2 first-round picks for Matt Stafford?
Two firsts and a second, I thought, or 2 firsts.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
So, I mean, I said at the time, we all said at the time, if you win a ring, and
it's worth it.
Whatever's on Matt Stafford's contract, I think it was 2 years. If you win a ring in those 2 years, it was worth it.
Yep.
So you won a ring, it was worth it.
It was worth it. Yep.
Paid out. Good for the Bengals.
Really good. I never thought in my lifetime that I would.
That's a real quick turnaround for that team.
That the Cincinnati Bengals were a Super Bowl contender.
I know it's a different feeling. Like now going into next year, it's like now it's like okay, now I have to respect Cincinnati in the playoffs. What?
Yeah, and honestly, that was like a message to really the whole league that you have one team that absolutely demolishes their future and they win a ring, and you have a team that was literally zeros the last 3 or 4 years to
just
now they're
nailed their draft picks.
Yeah.
They did nail some underrated free agent signings, like Mike Hilton.
Yeah.
Was a great signing for them.
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson, whatever. It was good. They made some good signings, but you can't. They nailed it on Burrow. Well, I mean, that was a no-brainer. You had the number 1 pick. It was Joe Burrow. They just get. But T. Higgins, good pick. The Jamar Chase pick paid off.
Yep.
And you got there, and like I said, I like it. They both teams got there in like the opposite ways because the Rams were just like, oh fuck draft picks, dude.
Yeah, they're just like sell it, and hopefully we'll make it back. And I give the Rams credit. They put it all out on the line.
Oh, 100%. They went. I mean, it's the cliche term, all in. They were all in.
And they
And the offense didn't play great in the first half. What we did get to see was that Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad should be his agent.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
He put up that clip that showed that, OBJ getting out of Cleveland made such a difference for him. And that offense, for the most part, after he went out of the game and killed my bet on his on his prop.
Yeah,
It
because
was
he
locked in. But
he was on
that offense sputtered for a
Yeah.
while in that game.
I mean, he
It wasn't
was
until late that
honestly,
Cooper Cup, brought it back.
yeah. I mean, honestly, he was on his way to win the MVP in that game,
He
and there
could
was
have
no
been.
doubt about
Yeah, it was only he only had 2 catches. It was for 52 yards, and but the offense itself looked different. It felt like they were.
Well, they just don't have that dominant running game that Sean McVay wants. They just don't have it. Whether
Yeah.
it's Sony Michel or Henderson, or
You mean
they
2-time Super Bowl champion Sony
Yeah.
Michel?
Yeah, you're right.
For all those who hate the Belichick draft picks, that is a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
They don't have, they just don't have a 1-2 punch back there just yet, and now they're going to be in salary cap hell.
What
So
they
it's
had
not like
with
they're
that Gurley,
fix it.
that when they had Todd Gurley, running all over the place back then. Then he lost. Some guys lose a step after they get hurt. Todd Gurley lost like 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah.
After he got hurt.
But Matt Stafford's like, oh, no running game. Oh, no wide receivers besides one. I got this. We're good.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos. So Stafford did throw the 2 interceptions, but kudos to Matt Stafford getting that drive going, and Cooper Kupp took over the field. Obviously, he was getting double coverage without OBJ, without Robert Woods there. Obviously, Cooper Kupp was getting double coverage, and good for him. Yeah. He got himself open. He got the yards. He made the plays. Super Bowl MVP. I thought Aaron Donald could have had a shot at MVP. That defensive line in the second half, the real reason to me that they won the game, and I don't mean any disrespect to Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp and everyone on that offense, the real reason to me they won that game is that defensive line dominated the second half.
Yeah, and we were sitting there bullshitting at halftime, and we were just talking about it. We're like,
You
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, not a good advertisement for your computer.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, that front seven played absolute lights out for them, and it was just a dominant effort from those front four. And the thing is about that defense too, they can go 6 or 8 deep at that defensive line. Like, they have so many different packages. Like, that A'Shawn Robinson was absolutely feasting on that offensive line. Like, I'm pretty sure you could have walked anybody out there and they probably could have got a sack. I mean, it was just a dominant effort. And
that's, again, it brings you to, like, the Bengals. The reason you lost the game is your offensive line couldn't hold up.
Has been the issue all year and last year.
It's something you were able to overcome throughout the playoffs, but you couldn't overcome the big ones. It's not something you overcome against a guy like Aaron Donald. I mean, I'm not. And again, there's only so many guys that in the league that can block Aaron Donald. By so many, I mean 1 or 2, maybe.
Yeah, if that. Yeah.
Yeah, if.
And I think just the worst part, like, it's 4th and 1 with the game on the line, and you leave him single. You leave him singled up against your worst guard. Like, what do you think was going to happen?
And you ran right at him.
Right.
Which is something I can't quite wrap my head around. I mean, if you're the Rams, I don't know what you get in cap space. I did see, as is always overreactions, I did see a Rams fan, instead of doing terrible Twitter takes this week, we'll just do overreactions. Super Bowl. I did see a Rams fan saying that they're going to be the next Patriots-like dynasty.
Stop.
So by a Patriots like dynasty, would that mean a 20-year dynasty?
Well, I'm just saying.
Like,
First of all,
if it's a Patriots like dynasty, that means a 20-year dynasty, right? Stafford's 34 and Donald's 30. So yeah, sure, you're going to dominate for the next 20 years. Yeah.
I'm just so over that, Steve. I really like. You just can't.
48-year-old Matt Stafford is going to be the Super Bowl MVP.
What they did in the salary cap era will never be done again. It'll never happen.
Yeah, no, that's the problem is that for this new generation of sports fans out there is the Patriots made this look so fucking easy that people think it's automatic. And now, I keep seeing, just like we saw at Mahomes, is how many Super Bowls is Joe Burrow going to make it to now?
Right.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
He could make it. He could make it back. He could never make it back.
Right now, if I'm Joe Burrow, I have 3 years before his contract, before Joe Mixon's contract, and before Jamar Chase's contract. He has a 3-year window where it's. And T. Higgins. They have a 3-year window to where they can either make it back to the Super Bowl and win, and that's probably the best that they can do. Because once that Joe Burrow contract hits, I mean, he might be the first quarterback with a $55+ million deal.
Yeah, and I mean, what you're gonna have to keep drafting as well as you are.
Right.
You're gonna have to, because after a couple of years with Higgins and Chase and Burrow, like you said, you're going to have to pay these guys. You're probably going to have to choose at some point between. I mean, this is years down the line, so it's not hating on the Bengals. This is just
right.
This is just facts.
Yeah.
You're going to have to choose at some point between keeping T. Higgins or keeping Jamar Chase.
Right.
You're not going to be able to keep both of them.
Right.
And if you want to keep both of them, you're going to have to give up Joe Mixon, right?
Yeah.
And you have to mortgage your offensive line to defense.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to keep nailing the draft picks, and you're not going to be able to be – you're not – like, now it gets harder as well even next year because now you're not picking in the top 10.
Yeah, now you're back in 30s.
Yeah, now you're picking at 31.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you're basically a second-round pick. Now you – which nothing wrong being a second-round pick. You can still find good plays, but now it's not. You really have to start doing your 15. Scouting. Yeah, it's top 10 talent. Just best player on the board is easy.
Yeah.
If you're the Rams in the offseason, I don't really know if there's anything you could do because you got no draft picks, and I don't know what you got to cap space.
Well, that's what they were. It was a conversation like all week. They were talking that Sean McVay was going to leave, and ESPN was given this huge deal, and there was a lot. I guess there was a lot of talk about it, and everybody's like, "I don't understand why he would leave," and blah 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 blah. Because honestly, he can't pick a kid for the next 5 years. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like,
I saw someone say that, and I was dying laughing. It's like,
he can't pick who he wants.
He's sold out everything they had for their future.
Right.
Got himself a ring.
Yeah.
And then steps away like that. That would be like a savage move, kind of a dickhead move.
I mean, he's 38 or 36. Like,
he's got money.
I've seen this rodeo before where guys leave and then they come back in their mid 40s or early 50s and come back and just be just fine. So, like, if that ESPN deal is just fine, what's keeping you there? You got your ring, you got your money, and you mortgaged your absolute future for the next 6 years. You have zero cap space, and why would you want to be mortgaged up to your head if you have the option to take just as much as you do without coaching? And I think that's just the argument that people need to understand.
I mean, it's working for ESPN is a much less stressful job than
and
coaching
like
football.
I said, he's 36 or 38 years old. He could take a 5-year break and be like, "Hey, Rams, what's up? I'll come back. You pay me that money." Since we
Oh
got
no,
draft
dude,
picks
no,
in
he
the
wouldn't even
future
go
now.
back to the Rams. You know what? Because it wouldn't even go back to the Rams.
Yeah.
He'd just all of a sudden be a big head coaching candidate.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden 1 year it'd just be like Sean McVay is rumored. It would be like Schefter and Rappaport. Rumors that Sean McVay is
he'll end up
considering coming back to
in
coaching, which is
he'll end up in
code
New
for
Orleans.
Sean McVay's agent has texted us and said he wants to come back to coaching.
Yeah, he'll be
And
in
then
New
it would
Orleans
be any
or
of those
something like
teams that have have like your future set up. They need a guy. Yeah, that I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it. I'm not saying it was going to happen because I can see him staying and trying to win another ring.
Yeah,
in the next 1 to 2 years.
Yeah,
but yep, I can see him leaving because ESPN would probably pay him nearly as much. Like I said, if there's an ESPN deal there.
Yeah, it was him, and they were talking about him and Al Michaels,
Al Michaels, him and Al Michaels.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather him than Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah, that's what they're
does that mean we get rid of Chris Collinsworth, or do we still keep Chris Collinsworth?
I would hope so, because I was brutal listening to fucking him during the Super Bowl.
Oh my God, it was
just brutal.
I mean, so here's another overreaction. He said that Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp had the most, from what he'd seen these playoffs, he said Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp had the most clutch playoff run of any quarterback and wide receiver he had ever seen.
I don't know about that. They have probably one of the most top 10 probably plays in the playoffs. Maybe top
the most
15.
Dude, for the entire playoffs, the most clutch.
No, not the
quarterback
playoffs,
in the playoffs run you've ever seen. Dude, I can.
No.
Do we need to talk about do I need to bring up the Brady moments?
Yeah. Before anything, I would say the Super Bowl, that was pretty much their entire season or a microcosm. But there's only really one or maybe two plays that really stand out to me with Cooper Kupp and him. And it's clearly on the road in Tampa against the defending champions. You're down by 2, and Matt Stafford throws an absolute fucking dime to Cooper Kupp with seconds remaining on the clock to get a field goal.
And then
that's probably a top 10, top 15 play in probably the playoffs. I'll give him that.
Yeah, and that last drive for the Rams, Cooper Kupp took over the game, took over the field.
Yeah. And that
I'll give it to him. To say the most clutch ever, the most clutch ever.
No.
And I saw Orlovsky just all of a sudden top 5, one of the throws, top 5 throw in Super Bowl history. It was a hell of a throw. And I don't know if it's a top 5 throw in Super Bowl history, because to say that, I'm going to have to go back and watch every single fucking Super Bowl over again. That is such a wild statement to make, because it means you have to watch every game, every single game, Super Bowl ever.
when he says something like that, I already know at least 2 plays already before that. And it's always the Santonio Holmes catch at the back of the end zone for the Steelers. Mm-hmm. That's better than that, 100%. I mean, that won the Super Bowl
and you're talking top 5 Super Bowl throws. I mean, let's think about how about some of the throws that Brady made. I can think of.
I mean, I can
think of probably 2. I can probably think of 2 throws in the Falcons in the fourth quarter against the Falcons.
Yeah.
Alone, better than that.
I mean, I could say right now. I mean, the Holmes catch.
I think Matt Ryan had a better throw.
Both of the Giants catches, the Mario Manningham catch was great.
The Eli Manning throw to Mario Manningham was fucking one of the best throws I've ever seen in the game.
So right there, Steve, there's 4. You know what I mean? So you're not telling me that's top 5.
Yeah, I mean, because
it was great. Don't get me wrong. The no-look pass, I mean, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a great pass. It was a big moment.
like I could say top 15, top 10. We could get into that ballpark, absolutely.
Yeah.
But not top 5 instantly.
No, I'm not. I can't say top 5 because we just talked over the last like 14 years. We came up with 4.
Right.
Like off the top, without even watching the games. This is just off the top of our heads. Like like slow down. Not everything that happens has to be the best thing that ever happened.
Right.
Like I swear, people like have like whatever happens has to be the greatest thing that ever happened. Like no, not everything is the greatest thing
ever. It could
be
the hall of really good.
Yeah, and then like so now there's the talk. Matt Stafford Hall of Fame. I talked about last week. There's a conversation for it now because he's got a Super Bowl and he's just outside the top 10.
He was always on the border. He was always like top 15 for me, probably. And now he's like probably 10th.
So here's my thing.
He's 34 or 36. I think he's 34. So realistically, he's got another year in the Rams offense and an extra game. I mean, the man could probably end up top 8 in passing yards, probably, by the end of his career. I
mean, he's going to pass John Elway for passing yards next year to be 11th all time. So, the passing yards to me, the passing stats in general, are all inflated nowadays. I just have to remind people of that. It's passing yards just passing stats in general for a quarterback are some of the most inflated stats you can really use because it's just a different era.
Yeah.
It's not. I have to look at it, but like
Hail Mary.
But like Joe Flacco has got more touchdowns than like a lot of guys that like you're not going to tell me Joe Flacco is better.
Right.
And like if you do like. I'm not even gonna. I almost want to look it up, but I'm not gonna. But I remember there was a couple people on there that I'm like, well, if you tell me Joe Flacco is better all time than that guy, then I'm just gonna slap you in the face and try to knock some fucking sense into you, because like that's what you need. So, I think Matt Stafford is like a borderline. There could be a conversation on him. Forget where his stats are gonna end up with the Super Bowl ring. I think there could be a conversation on it. I don't know if he quite deserves being a Hall of Famer. But here's my thing. Eli Manning is getting into the Hall of Fame because he's got 2 rings.
Correct.
And his defensive line really he made the throws. He made the throws when it counted. But his defensive line won those games.
But his defense has carried him.
But he's going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And Eli Manning, this is at no point in Eli Manning's career was he ever a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Mm-hmm. At any point in Matt Stafford's career, was Matt Stafford a top 5 quarterback in the NFL?
Probably not.
Probably not, because
he's probably a 10. He
was in the 10 best quarterbacks of his generation, but I mean, during his career, Brady, Manning, Rodgers, Breeze.
Yeah.
There's 4 every year you would say are better than him.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, people also last year wanted to talk about Phillip Rivers going in the Hall of Fame because of where his stats ended up. Well, Phillip Rivers, I'll ask you the same question. Was he ever a top 5 quarterback in the NFL?
No.
Maybe 5. But I don't even know if because you also had Roethlisberger in this era that won a ring.
You also had Manning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer because of his stats.
If he gets
if Phillip Rivers is a
Matt
Hall
Stafford,
of Famer, Matt Stafford is a Hall of Famer.
100%.
And then at the same time, I'll bring you this. If Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer, is Matt Ryan a Hall of Famer?
Well, he's been to more Super Bowls. He hasn't won
Been to
them.
more Super Bowls, and he's got
than
more
Philip.
hardware because he's got an MVP.
Yeah.
And the stats are about the same. So,
I mean,
then
that's
you're
just the
telling
Hall of.
me.
Oh, man.
So then you're telling me, right, that Stafford, Ryan, Rivers, and Eli Manning are all Hall of Famers, which means Roethlisberger, Rodgers, Breeze, Brady, who are already Hall of Famers, I'm not saying that, are all getting a Hall of Fame. So is that 9 quarterbacks from the same generation?
Yeah.
You're going to tell me, no, you can't. Not everyone has to get into the Hall of Fame.
No, and that's what I'm. It's the Hall of Fame.
It's for the greats.
Good or very great.
It's been starting to get watered down.
Yeah.
But that's where this is where it's going to start to get really watered down. I feel like if they let in, because like I said, if you let in Phil Rivers, then you have to let in Matt Stafford, and then you probably have to let in Matt Ryan. Then you're already letting in Eli Manning and Roethlisberger. Well, that's
right, and
that's 9 quarterbacks from the same generation. So
and Rodgers and Roethlisberger, they're all first ballot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like there's no doubt.
And so is Breeze
and Breeze. They're all first ballot.
And I mean, obviously
Brady.
Brady like might even be able to just skip first ballot. They might even just induct him next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they were all first ballot, so it's I don't know. I think to me, if you were gonna let these guys in, you'd have to be like years down the road and see other people not touch their stats and not look as good as them, and then maybe you could like talk about it and be like, if it was really 20, 30 years later, a legacy thing.
I mean, it just comes down to it's not the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah, because then at the same time, I'm already going to say this: if you put all those guys in, then Patrick Mahomes is already a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, 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 100%.
Which then I mean, I look back. Not every quarterback that makes it to a Super Bowl, wins a Super Bowl, has to go get into the Hall of Fame. Joe Theismann's not in the Hall of Fame. He won an MVP in a Super Bowl. So we don't. Yeah. It's not everyone who if you do it for 1 year, that doesn't make you a Hall of Fame.
Right.
I'm sure you can have the conversation about Stafford, and all that. But it's if you put Rivers in the Hall of Fame, you have to put Stafford in.
Yeah.
That's where I end up on it, and I don't like that because I think it's watered down.
Yeah.
Which you've already started to do.
Right. Well, I mean, there's
and then at the same time, you won't put fucking Rodney Harrison in the Hall of Fame. You fucking assholes.
There's such a backlog of players that need to be in already. And you're not telling me that.
Yeah, and they already want to talk about Stafford and Rivers. I'm looking at guys that aren't in yet.
Just got in this
year.
Yeah,
originally, dude. No, I could go on about the Patriots Hall of Famers that aren't in the Hall of Fame. I have to go on. You're going to tell me, because right now they've only put in Tyler and Seymour, and they're not going to put Harrison in.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're not going to bring up anyone else for that run. You're going to tell me that over a 20-year run of dominance that the NFL has never seen before and will never see again, that the only Hall of Famers were a defensive end, a cornerback, the quarterback, and a tight end?
Yeah.
Oh, and Randy Moss. Okay, for the 2 years of Randy Moss.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay, so the other 18 years.
Yeah.
Just a tight end, a quarterback, and two defense plays. That's it.
Right. Come on now.
That's no. That's more players. Logan Mankins is a Hall of Famer to me.
Yeah.
Logan Mankins hasn't even been talked about.
Fucking anchored that whole line.
Dude, okay, this is one of the funny things to me. Logan Mankins retired in 2014.
Yeah.
He's a starter on the 2010s All-Decade team.
Right. I mean, that should just say it right there.
Like that's going on by like the players and everything. Like Logan Mankins was the fucking one of the best linemen of the fucking 2010s. He played fucking 3 years in it. Like he dominated the rest of the years. Well, I think Matt Light deserves consideration for the Hall of Fame. Vince Wilfork.
Vince. I mean, he's a
Vince better be in the Hall of Fame. I think Kevin. He's not there yet. He hasn't retired. I think Devin McCourty should get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I could go on and on.
We could go on, Steve. Yeah.
They should flood Ken. Rodney Harrison not being in the Hall of Fame is a fucking crime.
It's a fucking sham.
That's crime.
Right.
I will go on about that fucking every time I get a chance. It's a fucking disgrace. Last Super Bowl reaction I gotta get to is the halftime show. Fucking knocked it out of the park, dude.
Yeah.
I did not think they could pull that off. I thought it was going to be too big. I thought it was going to be too jumbled. I thought it was going to be a mess. I was wrong. They killed it.
I thought two ways, just like a normal person would. It was either going to be absolutely electric and amazing, or an absolute dumpster fire. And it was electric.
It was fucking awesome.
I mean, it was fantastic. And it's just, I mean, we'll just add this to the overreaction. Guys, if you honestly thought that Snoop Dogg wasn't going to smoke weed,
God, I was going to say that. I was going to say that's my last overreaction. It would be a story to me if he wasn't high.
Right. Come on,
If he didn't smoke weed, if you told me he didn't smoke weed before he went out and performed, I'd be like, there might be a problem, dude. Snoop stopped smoking weed.
Right.
Are you sure he wasn't eating edibles?
Right. Like, guys, first of all, it's the 21st fucking century. All right. We're not scared of weed.
Second of all, it was in fucking California.
Yeah. Yeah.
Third of all, it's fucking Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. If that man.
Fourth of all, it was a Dr. Dre concert.
If that man told me to light a spliff off the fucking LA Coliseum fucking torch, he'd fucking do it. Okay? Like, let the man live. All right?
I'm going to say this to you, too. He did the Puppy Bowl that same day.
Yeah.
With Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
I'm going to guarantee you, I will bet my life savings on this. I bet you he was high as a motherfucking kite before he hosted the Puppy Bowl with Martha Stewart.
Oh, absolutely.
He fucking was. He was. Anytime he wasn't on screen, he was stepping out back and ripping one. Guaranteed.
It's just so funny because I know I've talked about it before, but like the two most unlikely people to ever put in a room, Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg.
Oh, they work so good together.
Hilarious.
They're so good together.
It's just so random, but they're so good together.
Ever since Martha Stewart went to prison and got herself street cred.
Yeah. Like.
And I love the idea, dude, that like Snoop Dogg, you know, and to say it for all of them, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Eminem, 50. The way those guys all grew up.
Yeah. See
them up there doing that. I mean, think about how their lives have turned around. And the fact that Snoop Dogg did not change a single thing, really. Like he did change some things about his lifestyle. Yeah. Like I guess he's not full in on the Crips anymore, but he did do the Crip walk on national television. So he's still their boy. Yeah. I guess he's not running drugs and shit for them anymore.
Yeah.
But Snoop Dogg's always been a pothead. He never changed. He was a pothead. He never fucking hid that.
Like, come on, guys. Like
Dr. Dre still went out there and fucking Just the cops, which I don't care about, because if Dr. Dre changed the lyrics to one of his songs to fucking appease people, I'd be fine. That again, I'd be more fucking pissed about that, because that would go against everything Dr. Dre and them stood for.
Yeah, and
I'm not going to get into politics. I'm saying that if Dr. Dre changed the lyrics to his song to appease people for the times, I would be more pissed about that.
Yeah,
because that is completely against what Dr. Dre and them ever stood for. They couldn't do that.
I guess the other thing that stands clearly out in my mind is the fact that, first of all, I get it's the Super Bowl. I get it. I can't pay $9,000 for a ticket. For one ticket. Okay. So if in my entire lifetime I would spend $9,000 on a ticket to the Super Bowl, I am not jumping onto the field and getting tackled. Okay. I'm not doing it.
I am not getting thrown out.
No.
I'm going to be on my absolute best behavior.
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy every second of that $10,000.
Yeah. And I even might pitch a tent in the stadium and just stay there for $9,000.
Yeah, I'm getting everything I can out.
Yeah, they're going to have to kick me out after the game. Not during the game.
Not during the game. I'm at least seeing the game. I might even be in the stadium early. So
I mean,
it's a $9,000 fucking ticket.
I mean, so you're kicked out of every game in the NFL. Now you're banned. And
so now you can't even go to a game next year.
And you just blew $9,000, and they'll see you in court. I mean, what possesses a person to even think that's a good idea? I mean, in my drunkest moments, I have never thought in my entire life I'm going to go streaking on the field. Ever.
No, but I've been absolutely obliterated in stadiums, dude.
Oh yeah,
I've been absolutely obliterated in Gillette.
When I'm sitting
there, I've been obliterated in Fenway. I have never once thought, let's run on that.
I mean, I'm sitting
there. I've done fucking blow before I went to Fenway, and fucking pounded shots, pounded nips in my seat, drank $14 beers, and never once thought about jumping on the fucking field.
I would assume the average NFL ticket's over $100, right? On average, probably.
I mean,
minus whatever.
I mean, for an average ticket, if you're not talking, if you're not talking nosebleeds at, a couple of bad teams late in the year.
Even for me, if I'm traveling from West Virginia to Pittsburgh to watch a Steelers game and paying for me to get to Pittsburgh, be there, go to the game for like $175 and have 2 beers, I'm spending $200. And even then, I'm still not streaking on the field for $200. I'm not doing it. So
Yo, Brady, since you're here, Brady, would you streak on the field for $200? What's up, brother? No, dude, it's crazy to me. It's stupid. The running on the field like that. What the fuck are you? Like you said, it's a $9,000 ticket. I wouldn't do that at any of these games.
First of all, I would have paid $9,000 to Aaron Donald to absolutely rip that man apart. Like, I would have go full NFL. What was that game on the N64? Oh my God, Blitz! I would go full NFL Blitz on.
I was just gonna say Blitz.
Yeah,
that was such a good
NFL
game.
Blitz. I would give him $9,000 to go full NFL Blitz on that guy. Like, fuck him up.
I would too. Fuck it. If I had $9,000 again.
Yeah. I guess the other big winner, Eric Weddle. My man was sitting on the couch like 4 weeks ago, probably sipping on a fucking marg. And Sean McVay's like, "Hey, can you come back?" And then he's like, "Oh, sure, I'll come back." Played safety for 4 weeks, won a Super Bowl, back into retirement.
Played good.
Ball game. Yeah.
Played good.
Yeah.
Good for him, dude.
Good for him. That's the biggest winner right there, is Eric Weddle.
Absolutely. I love that. Biggest winner. We'll move on. Anyway, folks, don't forget this episode is brought to you by creationsnack.com. Use code BCMG for 20% off your order. So Super Bowl movie trailers, unless I missed something, we didn't get a lot, really. I mean, we saw like Uncharted, I believe, which we'd already seen anyway. We saw a little bit of a Batman trailer, but it wasn't anything we hadn't already seen.
I hadn't already seen, yeah.
Jurassic World Dominion trailer.
Yeah, well, that trailer
That looked
me
sick. That looked pretty sick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah.
I may not go see that in theaters because I hate movie theaters. Just I don't like the public.
That trailer pissed me off because there was no name. Like, I've seen it on Twitter and like everything else, but like you just spent all that money and you just put the Jurassic Park symbol and then you just cut the film. Like, just cut it right there. Like, you paid millions of dollars and now I haven't put a name to the movie on national television. Like, you don't.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It does look sick. But then, like I said, after that, there's not much. I thought we would see an Obi-Wan trailer, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I really thought we were gonna get was an Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer.
I mean, that's May, and we still haven't seen it.
We've seen nothing.
No,
I've even started watching the Clone Wars.
I've just seen posters. I haven't seen like anything else.
Yeah. But the big one.
Yeah.
That they showed. Yeah. As always, Marvel fucking. Does anyone seize the day quite like fucking Marvel Studios does when it comes to things like this, dude? Because that Doctor Strange trailer, holy shit.
I mean,
he's not even one of my favorite characters in the Marvel universe. Like he's really not. I didn't like the first Doctor Strange movie all that much. It was good. It wasn't fantastic. It was a good movie.
It's just crazy that like they've had us on these shorts. They had us on series for I don't know. I mean, the Black Widow. We've had Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Venom, and Spider-Man. So 4 movies.
These little standalone things.
Like 4 movies, and then we have WandaVision, Loki, Falcon, and Hawkeye that just came out not too long ago either. So we had 4 movies and 4 series since Endgame, which Endgame is it might be pushing like 5 years old now.
Yeah.
And they've had us by the nuts for like 10 years now, and there's like no stop to it at all. No end in sight.
I mean, this is, and like this movie, this is again, they're getting. I don't go see every movie in theaters.
Right.
I don't. Even the Marvel movies, a lot of the time, I don't rush out to the theaters. But I'm going to tell you this. This is 2 releases in a row. No Way Home and fucking Multiverse of Madness. I am rushing right out to the theaters opening day. They're getting my ass out of the house for it.
Yeah.
Because the people, well, I mean, I can't actually share the trailer on this. I don't think I can do it on my tablet. I don't know if you can somehow do it.
I'm on my phone.
It's a little late in the day to figure that out. Anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
So that was Maria Rambeau. I'm thinking that we saw was Maria Rambeau variant, or I did see a possibility that it's actually a Tony Stark variant, which I doubt.
I've seen a lot of talk.
I've seen it. I've seen the possibility of it being Superior Iron Man.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening because if you were going to bring back a cameo of a Tony Stark variant, I think it's a little too soon in the game.
Yeah.
I think it's a little too soon. You gotta let it you gotta let the depth of the character sit.
Yeah.
A little more. I think to make it more real. I also think with what I know they've got all the money in the world, but I also think with what they've clearly already spent making this movie, and what they just spent on Spider-Man, I think Robert Downey Jr. Coming back might be over the budget. I don't know what the budget was, but because I don't think Patrick Stewart was fucking cheap.
No. For a 10-second clip.
Patrick Stewart was not cheap. All of a sudden, the X-Men was the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
Yeah.
So that's actually one of the things you said. They've had us on by the nuts for 10 years.
Yeah.
What they've done in the last 2 movies now.
Yeah.
Because now the Professor X is now officially, even if it's a variant, that's officially a part of the MCU, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And the original Spider-Man movies are officially a part of the MCU.
Yep.
Bro, they've had us by the nuts for 20 fucking years.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've owned us.
Yeah. There's so many ways this movie is gonna go to. Many ways.
I don't even. So Shang-Chi is in it as well, isn't he?
I would assume yes,
because Wong pops up at the end of that.
Yeah, with Wong, I would assume.
And now it looks like Wong is actually going to be in the movie this time and not just dipping after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Good, and Spider-Man and everything else. He's just like, hey, what's up? I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, something's going on. Fucking, I'm out.
Okay, bye. Yeah.
Later. But he looks like he's actually going to be in it. Shang-Chi, we're assuming, is in it.
Yep. It sounds like to me the Red Skull's in it at some point.
Yep, it sounds like Red Skull's in it, which again, that's something I don't think was probably too cheap bringing it back because he's probably knew he had leverage on Marvel.
Yeah.
Tom Holland, I think we could be safe to assume is going to pop up Spider-Man.
Yep.
But
then you have, you got Wanda. You have
Wanda, which
in the first Doctor Strange.
If Wanda's showing up, we're going to have to. I think let's go out on a limb and assume Agatha is showing up.
Yep.
Let's go out on a limb and assume Quicksilver is showing up.
Yeah, at some variant point in time.
And now there's all the rumors of Deadpool making his first MCU appearance.
It's just, oh my God, it's just so funny because Ryan Reynolds, he's like my spirit animal, that guy. He literally put in his Twitter bio, coming to the MCU May something of 2022. And I'm like, this is going to set the world on fire. He just wants to watch the world burn. That's all I could think about. He just wants to watch the world burn.
Well, so here's the thing, though. If we're going to take a guess, right, that Spider-Man is going to show up in this.
Yeah.
And this is obviously the way, from how it looks, that they're going to introduce some of these X-Men characters into the universe is through the multiverse.
Yeah.
What better way would there be to finally get Spider-Man and Deadpool on the screen together in a way that works for both characters?
Yeah.
Because Deadpool doesn't exist in the PG-13 universe, but as a quick cameo like that, 20 minutes or something, 10, 20 minutes in multiverse.
Yeah.
Because if they bring him in, he's in it for more than 2 minutes.
Right. They're going to use him.
Yeah, if they bring Deadpool in, they're going to use Deadpool.
Right.
Because again, it costs you money.
Well, at that point, then Steve, you're like, well, then Colossus definitely has to make an appearance, and then
Colossus has to make an appearance,
and then you're like, well, Negasonic Teenage Warhead definitely has to make an appearance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's like a whole movie of Deadpool characters that you're like, okay, like they have to make an appearance. Like Cable, like why wouldn't Cable make an appearance? You know what I mean? Like there's so much this movie's gonna be.
And it's
like 2.5 or 2 hours and 45 minutes is not gonna be enough for what this movie can do.
Dude, they've already shown us that Patrick Stewart is in it.
Right.
And Ryan Reynolds pretty much told us that he's in it.
Yeah.
And then told us that he's not in it.
Right. Like,
but if they already showed us Patrick Stewart, why aren't they showing us?
Right.
What are they hiding that we don't already know is in it? Because they already told us Shang-Chi is in it, so that's not a surprise, right?
It's got to be Kang the Conqueror. It's got to be.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's
100% Kang the Conqueror.
It's him, or I don't think it would be Galactus at this point. You know what I mean? But I mean, it'd be tough, but
Galactus is as good as a character as he was in the comics. Galactus is a really hard villain to pull off in a movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw Rise of the Silver Surfer tried that. It didn't.
Yeah. I mean,
didn't work out.
The safer bet is Ultron returning over Galactus.
Ultron, I can see. And now, since we're talking about the Fantastic Four, is this a way that they teased that movie? Yeah, because you know that's going to be one of the things too in this is that there's probably going to be a scene where they just zip through different bounce from like universe to universe to universe. You know what I mean? Like, and not just like stay there for a while. They're probably just going to bounce through like a bunch of them for a couple of scenes and just have a bunch of cameos like that.
Yeah, I even saw a breakdown. Oh my goodness, Lord. A breakdown of when Doctor Strange, when they open up the first door in the strange trailer, you can actually see the old comic book of the X-Men in the background when they open up the first door. And I mean, first of all, that's if you could somehow pull that off, like, oh my God.
Well, so that's the X-Men. So now we already know we're seeing Professor X. We already know we're seeing Quicksilver. What about Magneto? I mean, watch Wanda's father.
Yeah.
I mean, what about Cyclops? Any of them? There's a lot that they could do. There's a lot they're absolutely doing. Like I said after Spider-Man that one thing was for sure was that they spent the fucking money.
Yeah.
They wrote a lot of checks.
Yeah.
To make that movie.
Yeah.
They just pulled out the checkbook to fucking everyone.
Yeah. Mark what you want.
For Multiverse of Madness, doesn't look any different to me.
Yeah.
I think they're writing a lot of checks.
Yeah.
A lot of checks are being
and those
written.
checks don't bounce.
Yeah. No, the checks don't bounce because
those checks don't bounce.
They have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Marvel has all the world's money.
Yep.
Because they have all of our money.
All of it.
And they're going to keep getting it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because, again, like, you know what? You can complain about that all you want. They're spending the fucking money.
Right. Like, and the thing is, too, Steve, like, they're getting it right with their actors.
Yeah. Yeah. They're really starting to nail it, which is something that they struggled to. Well, they still haven't nailed villain roles perfectly because they've bundled a few of their villains of the past besides Thanos.
Yeah.
But that's one thing they need to work on. But they nailed the casting of.
Well, I think on the villain side of things, I mean, it's just hard to be a villain in a PG era. Like, it's hard to really pander to the audience without, I mean, let's just face it, murder. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just hard to be that kind of a villain that way. So that's why I'm curious to see, because Kang is a fucking dick. Like, that man's an asshole.
Yeah, he's not a nice guy.
No, he is a fucking asshole. So, like, that character is going to require a lot.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, here's the other one. We're probably going to see Venom, Tom Hardy, in this as well because of the end credit scene at that.
Yeah.
And if we're seeing Tom Holland, this is probably the way that we introduce Tom Hardy and Venom into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they wrote a lot of checks. Eric, that's all we got for you today, folks. Again, of course, I had just Luke here with me today. Luke, thanks for joining, buddy. Why don't you tell everyone they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter I think at the new year I changed it. So I think it's King of Hearts, I think, is what my Twitter handle is. But you can follow me on Twitter. It's hockey season now. I'm done until April when the draft comes. And then it'll be football season for another month, and then it'll be back to the Stanley Cup playoffs. So right now, it's hockey season.
All right, sounds good. And of course, you all know where to find me. I am the General, Steve Reisner, and I'll be back next week at 12 o'clock. Hopefully, right at 12 o'clock Eastern time. If there's no technical difficulties. And once again, talking about whatever the fuck I feel like talking about.